All right, now let's cook. All right. Big blast incoming. Boom. Oh. Oh shit. Oh yeah, so just to recap real quick, all the mage related stuff when it comes to the new what is this, patch 11.2, time anomaly has been removed, so no more time warp procs, no more veins procs, and instead they're making this give more intellect. They're trying to buff spell slinger. I don't think this is going to do anything. You'll still play Frostfire. They're buffing mastery for both specs, so it's hard to predict how that will scale. So I'm going to leave that, you know, I'm going to leave that in the air. I'm not really sure. These are just nice quality of life changes and some cosmetic changes. Meteor does more damage when people are closer to the middle. Maybe that makes it actually bang. We'll have to see. 40%, I mean, that could be big. Every Pyroblast that you send while hypothermia is up does 15% more, up to 150. This could mean Sun Fury could be good for fire, because you get the longer hypothermia at the end of a 5-sphere combust. So, yeah, that could be huge, actually. They're buffing all the damage bonuses from icicles, or for mastery. So icicles are going to do more damage, and then all these are going to do more too. It says increased damage of Orb, Blizzard, Comet, Land Squish, and Ray. So they're just going to buff that a little bit more. We'll have to see if that does anything. It's hard to say how all these mastery changes are going to work, but yeah. What is this, 5-sphere combust? When you play Sun Fury, every 6 pyros generates a spellfire sphere. And for every spellfire sphere that you have, whenever you bust, your Arcane Phoenix will cast an exceptional spell. And then however many exceptional spells get consumed while you're busting is how long the hypothermia after the combust is. I think something like that. And then there's PvP changes, I think, down here, maybe. The only thing for Mage here is a slipstream movement reduction. So they don't want Arcane Mages moving around the map anymore, unfortunately. So that's slipstream nerf, and that's chrono shift movement speed nerf. So yeah, they're really targeting Arcane's movement speed, which kind of sucks in my opinion. But whatever. New PvP talent, Nether Flux replaces Magi. Brands your target, increasing the damage they receive from your next targeted spell by 100. Generates 4 charges, and it's a 15-second cooldown. So, for the longest time, Arcane Mages have complained that they're just a Magi-based class. Like, you press touch of the Magi, and then for 12 seconds, you just kind of fuck. And then, like, in between, you're just setting up your next Magi. So this is like a little mini go every 15. I'd imagine you would get 10 stacks of Harmony. You would have another Precision. You would have a Burden of Power and an Intuition proc, and then you would use this. Because this does increase the damage they receive from your next target spell by 100. So it essentially doubles the damage of whatever spell, I think. So yeah, I mean, you can definitely hit some crazy barrages with that, I think, if you have all those modifiers that I listed. We'll have to see. I think it might, yeah, you might be able to play that. It's just, you kind of have a lot of PvP talents on Mage that you like to. The Frostbomb equivalent change when they made Frostbomb fuck in a 15-second CD? Kind of, because there's a lot more conditions for Nether Flux to really matter. You need a lot of modifiers. You can, like, it would be really bad to take this and then just consistently do it on like a mid barrage. You want like your Burden of Power, your Intuition proc, your Nether Precision proc, and 10 stacks of Arcane Harmony. So tell me if I'm wrong here, but the way the tier sets are working this time around is different than they were working last time around. There's tier sets for hero talent trees. So your tier set changes based off of your hero talents, which is not something that has been done before. Usually it was just like a baseline effect. But it looks like your tier set changes because you can see there's a Frostfire 2 set, and then there's a Frostfire 4 set, and then there's a Spellslinger 2 set, and a Spellslinger 4. Which makes it a little unique for sure. So Frostfire 2 set is going to, for Fire Mage, Comet Storm, Ice Nova, and Frostfire Burst. Deal 10% increased damage and now apply Ignite at 150% effectiveness. So Comet Storm on Frostfire got even stronger because now it's going to apply Ignite. And then the Ice Nova from casting Phoenix Flames will apply Ignite, kind of small. Frostfire Burst doing 10% more too, and applying Ignite, also kind of small. But the Ignite part is definitely solid. And then I think this is a mistake to have Arcane here, because Arcane can't have Frostfire, but the Meteor from Isothermic Core, and then Frostfire Bolt and Frostfire Burst deal 10% more damage. Apply Ignite. So you have Ignite on Frost Mage now. But really the big part here is Frostfire Bolt. So like on Frost Mage, Frostfire Bolt doing 10% more with your tier set. I kind of feel like, did they mean for this to say Bolt? Or did they mean for this to say Burst? No, actually. That's really weird that it's Frostfire Bolt and Ice. Like, that's the difference. Bolt for Frost and Ice Nova for Fire. But anyways, I think you'll play, yeah, you'll play both of those, most likely, for Frost and Fire. The 4 sets for Frost Mage is casting Glacial Spike has a 100% chance to cast a Pyroblast at 100% effectiveness. Additionally, Pyroblast now benefits from Ignite. So as Frost Mage, if you play Glacial, it will have a Pyro in there. And you can probably make the Pyro crit if you shatter it. It'd be interesting to note if it consumes another Winter's Chill. But in order for that to be played, they have to buff Glacial Spike a lot. Because right now, Glacial Spike hasn't been played the entire expansion. So, I mean, you can definitely tell that that's a PvE tier set. They all are. And usually the tier sets for PvE that involve Glacial aren't played in PvP. Typically, there's been like a couple exceptions to that when Glacial was good, but I could definitely see you not running this one for Frost. For Fire, though, I think this is actually pretty nice. So casting Pyroblast has a 20% chance to also cast a Glacial Spike at 100% effectiveness. And then yeah, the tier sets are 33% effective. Yeah, casting Pyroblast has a percent chance, an unknown percent chance to cast a Glacial Spike. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of insane considering, like, on Fire Mage, you just have an absurd amount of Pyro generation. Like, now for Spellslinger, which is currently you don't really play Spellslinger on any spec. Even Sun Fury on Arcane is kind of better right now, I think. So for Arcane Blast, damage increased by 20%. Direct Splinter damage has a 50% chance to grant a stack of Harmony. You already have way too many stacks of Harmony, in my opinion. I don't think this really matters too much. The blast damage is kind of nice. And then for for Frost, Ice Lance and Icicle damage, like flat damage increase. Direct Splinter has a 25% chance to grant you a stack of Cold Front. I think Cold Front is that like talent where when you cast 30 Frostbolts, it like summons an orb. Casting 30 Frostbolts or Flurries calls down a frozen orb. Hitting an enemy player counts as double. Oh, okay, so you only need 15. The 4 set for Slinger. Arcane Orb has a 100% chance to grant a stack of Harmony up to 5 times. So I'm assuming, yeah, whenever... Oh, upon reaching maximum stacks of Harmony, gain Intuition. So I literally just have to read right there. Okay. So whenever you get to 10 stacks of Harmony, you get a free Intuition proc. That doesn't seem bad. It's just you have to play Spellslinger now to get that. I don't know yet. And then for Frost, because that shouldn't be there. Unless they're making Fire somehow able to play Slinger. But it's just, yeah, it's not right. When Frozen Orb deals damage to one or more enemies, it has a 15% chance to grant a stack of Cold Front. When Cold Front summons a Frozen Orb, increase your spell damage. So it's only Cold Front summoned orbs. Now the reason why I have like I'm like maybe this is okay and maybe this is playable is because when you have an orb out and you get Permafrost Lance, which is that 15% lance damage increase, that's really good. That's a really good buff to have high uptime on, because it means like your lances are going to hit almost as hard as your Frostfire bolts when you have that up. So if you can have like a way higher uptime on orb with that, maybe. And then the Sun Fury stuff here, I think this should say Fire and Arcane. Or wait, Spellfire Sphere spell damage bonus increased by 1%. Your Arcane Phoenix has a 25% chance to cast an exceptional spell without consuming a Spellfire Sphere. When your Phoenix expires, it empowers you even further beyond, granting lesser time warp. And 10% increased spell damage. So what do we think lesser time warp is? I mean, it doesn't say for how long either. If it's like a 1 second time warp proc, that kind of sucks, right? The talent they removed. You think it's just going to be a time warp proc? You don't think it's going to be a lesser time warp proc with like the haste cut in half or something? Yeah, that's the part we don't know. What does it mean by lesser? The lesser part is kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not like super ecstatic about like, so your Phoenix has a 25% chance to cast an exceptional spell without consuming a sphere. So like at its peak, right? You're always ever only gonna have 5 Spellfire Spheres. And then you press either Bust or Surge. Which these things are like, how many times are you surging or busting per game? Maybe 2, 3? Like 2 in Shuffle for sure. 2 is the max in Shuffle. And then in 3s, I don't know, maybe you can get up to like 3 or 4 of them. Maybe 5. It's like a really damp game. So then you have a 25% chance 5 times on each Surge or Bust to get basically, let's say 1, maybe 2 max more, because you got to think this is also nerfed by 33%, or it is 33% effective. So it's like a really RNG to get that part of it. And then this is going to be like 0.3% more damage. And then this is like going to be 3 point something percent spell damage, and then a lesser time warp proc, which we don't know what it is. So these feel underwhelming. Potential to be huge, but sucks that it's like a RNG I win effect. I wouldn't even say it's an RNG I win. I would say it's more like RNG like slight DPS increase. But maybe it is. Maybe I'm underselling it a lot. I'm not sure. I really like this one, dude. I want to get my hands on that one. Is this stuff on the server? Like, can I make a class on the PTR and test these, or are these not on the PTR yet? I'm just like trying to fish for a normal one. It's like not happened yet. I've sent a good amount. Alright, let's I saw one. Was that another one? I can't tell. Oh, there's another one. Wait, something hit for 2 million. What was that? Here, let's scroll up. Glacial Spike. Yeah. Okay. The Glacial Spike is what hit for 2.2 million. Non-crit too. I'm gonna spend all my instants first. Then I'll drop Meteor. Then I'll combust, Crossfire, Fire Blast, Pyro. Fire Blast, Pyro. Phoenix Flames. Yeah, so you can see the Glacial Spike damage right there. It's pretty good damage. Minus the like insane amount of ignite damage. Like, yeah, look at the Glacial, dude. I mean, that's cool, dude. I don't know. The individual procs are hitting really hard too. Alright, so what we're trying to test here is Glacial Spike damage. So spell us my schools. And sheep him. Oh. Alright. And then let's pop Veins. Glacial Spike, Flurry, Shifting, Frostbolt, or Comet, Frostbolt. And that was like a pretty good mix of all spells. Look at the Pyroblast and Ignite though. Oh man. So it looks like on players it is accurately nerfed. I think. That Glacial is kind of surprising me though, to be honest. But the 4 set for Frost Mage is yikes. Look at it. Okay, let's go Spellslinger. See, what is the tier set for Spellslinger? Ice Lance and Icicle damage increased by 20, and then it's a bunch of like orb stuff. Frozen Orb. Let's see if we can even get into Cold Front territory. Okay, so the tier set again, Ice Lance and Icicle damage, baseline, Frozen Orb deals damage, 50% chance to do well. Just like generates something. Oh, here we go. And then you just spam Lance with this one. And then your orb. Another orb. Oh wait, I thought it was supposed to do it at 15. Well, I'm definitely not like super hyped about Cold Front, but the Ice Lance damage is about 350,000 to 400,000 higher. Oh wow, those splinters actually Not bad. And the frost bolts are peaking at the same as the frost fire bolts. Icicles. Now I'm not mastery stacking, but 6% for icicles is actually pretty standard. Maybe a slightly higher. Usually it's like 5% or lower. All right. I don't know. I'm not sold on it. Maybe you know, it deserves a more in-depth testing, but I want to move on to the other stuff. I think that is just not very interesting to me, and it feels like a reach, so I'm not gonna go any farther with that one. All right, here we go. Oh man, he's just gonna die. I'm trying to not kill him. There he goes. Good. Damn, we didn't get a glacial. Oh, we got one there, I think. Did it crit? It did crit. Ignite actually seems like it's cranking. They didn't change fire mastery at all though, right? Damn, that's a big scorch too. The meteor. Oh, nice. Meteor at the top end is hitting like pretty good. It's a little silly in my opinion that it hits less than Scorch at its peak, but alright guys, it's glass cannon time. Alright, get your healing pants on. I need to wait a couple seconds for combustion. Let's reset this. Alright, here we go. Spend all the procs. Bust. It's like the biggest one shot here. There's a glacial. Nice. So this is a pretty good round to base it off of. And my ignite should be hella high too, because I'm running glass EC. Alright, let's call it there. So full haste gear, almost 1 million ignite tick. 1.5 pyro. Almost a 3 million frostfire bolt. Glacial spike for about 1 million on a crit. Scorch 2.3, 2.4-ish. Meteor hits around 1.8, 2 mil-ish. Alright. We could try Sun Fury too, I guess, just to go through all of them. Hitting less than Scorch is the PvP afterthought. Alright, let's see. I want to go. It's hard to get. Oh, they changed the icon of Spellfire Spheres too. That's cool. So I think it's faster to stack spheres by sitting here and waiting, because you get them when you're out of combat. So we're going to let these stack up a little bit. And then we'll do a big rotation once we hit 5. So the tier set for this one is the sphere damage is increased by 1%. Let's see if it changes when I get in combat. No. Arcane Phoenix, 25% chance to cast an exceptional spell. When the Phoenix fires, it empowers you further, granting the lesser time warp. And 3% increased spell damage. Oh, nice. It did change. It says 3% instead of 10. Alright, we're at 5 spheres. So that's 20% damage increase at 5 spheres. Alright, so let's do a rotation. Oh, nice. We got a hyperthermia. So those pyros are going to do more per each one that we do. Peaking at 1.9 there. Let's get fireball on my bar. Okay, now let's do meteor, fireball, combust. That fireball is definitely not worth it. And then we get a big hyper here. Oh, and we get the time warp there. 5% haste. Holy. Another hyper. Alright. That was Sun Fury Fire. Way more pyro based. Oh. Maybe that fireball was worth it, dude. I casted it one time. Jeez. I don't know. Sun Fury Fire looks cool. I mean, definitely looks cool. The time warp kind of fits nice. Arcane is last. We're doing Arcane right now. The Sun Fury mop rotation is oh, actually it's the same thing. Or tier set. The Spellfire Sphere damage increase and the Phoenix at the end gives you the time warp. And 3% damage. So the lesser time warp is 5% haste, by the way, if anyone was curious on that number. So I think we'll just do it with Magi instead of Flux. Oh, by the way, the Flux is 125%. It said 120 on the website. We'll try Flux in a sec, but I just want to try normal Magi with this. Alright, let's get it. Damn, I killed him. We gotta wait. And then we should get the time warp proc here, which we want to spam. Oh wait, actually not yet. Now. Let me spam that. Alright. Let's check that out. Yeah, I mean that checks out. Feels the same pretty much as it is currently. It's kind of hard to tell, I guess. Oh, didn't I inspired intellect? And then the other one here is Arcane Blast damage 20% on Spellslinger. Direct Splinter damage 50% chance to grant a stack of Harmony. Arcane Orb has a 100% chance to grant a stack of Harmony. And then once you get to 10 stacks, you get Intuition. So you orb here, gives you 1. And then upon hitting 10, you get Intuition. Okay. Let's try a Slinger rotation. So I guess you really want to make sure you get to 10. There's another one. I ran out of Fear Castings. Well, blast damage is not the worst, because you want to do that anyways. So this is like more focused on blast. And the blaster, I mean, oh, whoa, Jesus. That barrage is way bigger. All right, let's try another flux. You guys can come to the conclusions you want to on that. I don't know. I don't know. They both kind of seem insane. Maybe the Sun Fury test wasn't like great, but the Splinter test seemed like it produced much bigger numbers. All right, let's just try it on a normal one. Hold on, I need to get another intuition. Hopefully I get one. This is like really difficult to test without add-ons. Okay, here's one. See how much that hits for. 3.2 non-crit. Oh man, what if it crit? Alright, so yeah, they like changed mastery on Arcane to like just the numbers are just higher. Like I don't know. The problem with mastery is that like Arcane is very global intensive. So like reducing your GCD speed on purpose is like already shooting yourself in the foot. And then additionally getting this talent is really, you have to make some really hard decisions, dude. Like holy shit, it's not easy. And this increases the damage of blast and barrage by an additional 30 with your charges. So we're not going to mess with flux on this. I'm not convinced you'll take flux. So let's just wait for trinket procs and build up some spheres and stuff. And I guess we can try to produce big blast. We actually probably want 2 set. Oh. Because it's like blast damage and stuff. Alright, let's see. Big blast incoming. Let's do some barrages in there too. Oh, big barrage incoming. Oh, bad. I mean, these numbers are like no higher than the no mastery. Like, if you go back and you look at the other test with the full haste gear, I swear, like there's no meaningful difference. I have 30% mastery too, so it still feels like it scales way worse than other masteries. Yeah, mastery's still ass, guys. But we did test it, alright? We tested it. That's what matters. Alright, now let's cook, alright? Big blast incoming. Actually, let's do a barrage instead. There we go. Boom! Oh! Dude. Oh shit. That was a fatty. That was with Nether Flux. Was that a non-crit? Oh, you're right. That was non-crit. Yeah, that was kind of nice. I want to try that again. Let's just do like a rotational one. Here, wait till I get, yeah, like right here. 5 mil. I mean, you could like, that's like a common thing too. You could even play 4 set. Hold on. Let's get rid of that. So you could play. Let me drop combat. Yeah, there. And then you can get an on-demand one of those. So let's do this. This. Let's get to 10. And then you do it there. What was that one? Oh, just a casual 9.4. Nice. It didn't even look like a 9.4. Oh look, we can do it again here. Ready? 7. Dude, you can like very often just get those, by the way. That's like not a super rare occurrence. With the 4 set at least. But you lose like your go, I guess. So I'm at 2 right now.